Alright, so we're going to be talking about rounding. I'm going to be personally using numbers with decimals and without decimals to show you how I round. Now, I go by a poem called Look at Your Number, Look Right Next Door, 4 or less, just ignore, 5 or more, add 1 more. Now, some people say 4 or less, let it rest, but I choose ignore because then it turns to 0. So if I have 8.1756 and I want to round, say, to the tenths place, I underline my number, I look right next door, 4 or less, just ignore, 5 or more, add 1 more, and because it's 5, I will add 1 more to my number. So my total will be 8.18. Right? I added 1 more to 7. Essentially, these are zeros, but zeros don't really matter. So because they're zeros, they can just kind of go away. All right, so let's try one more number. Maybe I have 128, and I want to round to the tenths place. Well, I look right next door. 5 or more, add 1 more, so it's going to be 130. Whatever number is in circles, regardless of if you add 1 or if you just ignore it, it's going to become 0. So for example, if I have the same number, just a little bit changed, I have 122, and I still want to round to the tenths place, and I look right next door, well, that's 4 or less, so I'm just going to ignore, meaning I'm not going to change that underline number. So it's going to be 120 instead of 130. Right? And 122 is closer to 120 than 128 is closer to 130. So let's try one more with a decimal. Let's say I have 4,672 and 164 thousandths. Okay, I want to round to the tenths place, so I'm going to underline it, look right next door. That is 5 or more, so I'm going to add 1 more. So I'm going to have 4,672 and 2 tenths. And that is my final answer. I don't need any more zeros after that.